Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. Welcome to a new day. Hope that you're doing okay wherever you are. I want to thank you first of all for being here and for just giving us such an amazing amount of support. 60 and Me is a community of women over 60 who are really trying to make the best of this time in their lives. And we have many channels where we communicate things that we may think may be of interest to older women. And this YouTube channel is a place where we do all kinds of things: makeup, beauty tutorials. We do conversations on downsizing, relationships, travel, conversations of the heart, lifestyle issues, and all kinds of things that are maybe helpful during this time and when we're spending more time at home and less connected physically to the people around us. And I know this is a big challenge for a lot of people. In this video, I want to talk though about conversations, about talking, and 7 ways to foster open, honest, and deeper communication in this troubling and turbulent time. These tough times are times when we really do need to learn how to talk to each other, despite our differences. We need to find the common ground, and I want to just chat with you about some ways to do that. Now, like you, I've been pretty much in lockdowns for a year now. I mean, it's been almost exactly a year when I'm recording this message, and we've kind of learned ways to cope. We've learned coping mechanisms. And for me, and maybe others in this group that are listening, we've been taught throughout our life, certainly I was, to sort of not share too many of your problems. Like when people ask you, how are you doing? You say, fine, great. And sometimes you really do mean that. Like, what else can you say? I mean, I'm having a down day or whatever, but I'm okay. Nothing to complain about, however you want to respond. But we've really got in the habit, I think, of not wanting to share too much, too deeply. And I think that's especially the case right now, where we're not able to have, really intimate conversations. We're passing people in, on the street distance. We're socially distancing. We're wearing masks. I find that so hard to talk to people with a mask. I always say, "Can you hear me?" And and then when I'm smiling behind the mask, I'll say, "I'm smiling." When you're having a conversation that is either just, a sort of a normal, a boring conversation about some transaction you're doing, your shopping or whatever, but also when you're talking to someone that you care about. And that's why I actually personally like Zoom. Zoom has got its challenges, but it definitely gives you ways to take off the mask and just talk to people and have a laugh. So the need for deeper conversations, I think, is one of the challenges of this time that we're living in. It's okay to just say you're doing fine, or just to relay, the high level conversation. But when it gets to talking about things of the heart, how do we do that? How do we do it during this time? We need closeness. Our head is telling us, wear the mask, socially distance, double wear the mask. I mean, people are just, going on a spectrum of how to cope with this time and how to protect themselves, how to stay safe. I mean, that is ultimately right now one of our primary concerns. But we have this heart connection, our heads working it out, rationally, giving us instructions. Our heart is saying, I just want to hug someone. I just want to be hugged. I want to just know that someone is touching me, and touching me either with a close look in the eye or a physical hug. We want conversations to go deeper, and we want that that reality of ours to be softened by humanity. And it's just not possible in many, many cases. So what are some ways we can do it? We'll talk about 7 ways in a second. But I think that, by the way, this article by Fran Meininger is our blogger who wrote this article on 7 ways to foster honest conversations. And I want to build on that, because Fran does a really good job in her article of, just getting to the reality of the world we're living in right now. How do we raise it? How do we raise the conversation to a level that's actually going to make us feel good? Fatigue. Who's feeling tired right now? I mean, if you'd asked me a year ago how you were feeling, I'd say I was feeling fearful. I was feeling energized in a way by what to do: exercise, take the supplements, eat good food, work out, walk once a day. I was kind of excited in a way. It was a funny thing that happened a year ago, when we were like, we're going to take this on, we're going to be okay. And there was that kind of desire to energize yourself. But I think now, a year on, people are just feeling a bit tired. tired of the routine, tired of, I came in from a walk just a few minutes ago, and I was like, okay, take my coat off, wash my hands, wash my gloves, wash the mask, just have a cup of tea, calm down, do some meditation. And, it's just, that routine of, it's not that it's boring, wouldn't consider that boring. I'm having a great opportunity now to do some of these things, but we've actually turned inside. We've turned inside in a way that we're just kind of tired. And so I want to energize you always with this. That's how 60andMe was designed, built. We wanted to energize women over 60 to go for it, to just do the things that they wanted to do in their lives. But we knew that there'd be days like this. That's a song. But there are days like this, and these are days when we just want a connection. So how do you do it? How do we foster honest communication during this time? Well, first thing is you can join communities like this, 60andMe. And trust me, there are many others. When we started almost 9 years ago now, we were kind of on a journey by ourselves here. There weren't a lot of online magazines for older women over 50. We were doing things that were like we were only ones, but there are so many groups now. And I encourage you to check them out. Because on Facebook, for example, there are private groups that are for women who have specific interest. You may like to knit or quilt, or you might like to read. And there's so much going on now online that you can join. So join a community and stay patient with that community, because it takes time to get to know people. And all we've got now is, all we've ever had at 60andMe was online and virtual. But all you've got now for that intimate relationship with your girlfriends, just to chat about stuff, is online. And that's a shift. So you've got to trust it, because not everybody is comfortable with that. And you're going to have to, find a way. So by the way, 60andMe has a Patreon supporters group where we do lockdown lounges, which are like live shows every 3 days. And we just talk in a private world, because that's Facebook, wherever you're looking at this on YouTube. It's open. YouTube doesn't seem to be too much of you don't get hassled at all. It's just, there's good conversation, and you can just join us here on YouTube. And please subscribe. If you haven't done that, subscribe. There's a little button, and just press that notification bell, because that tells you when new videos come up. I don't really promote them on any other place, so you just have to know when they're coming on YouTube and join in, because those are fun. But the Patreon group is a private group, and that's somewhere where we talk really honestly and openly in our live shows. I do exclusive videos just for the Patreon supporters. So it's just a couple of options, but there's other communities, lots and lots of them. Start where you're most comfortable. Choose a person that you trust. Practice this. If you're saying to yourself, I really miss just humanity. I miss touching. Choose a friend that someone that you trust, and say, can I tell you how I'm feeling right now? I won't take too long. See, if I am always apologizing. It won't be a long conversation to start with, but I just love to know, can I share my feelings with you? And you'll be surprised. Who's going to say no? Your friends, close friends, are the ones that you can start with. It gives you some courage to then talk more openly and honestly to others. Third thing is, in terms of the conversation technique, use information as a way to start the conversation. That's always really helpful, because you can say, I was just reading today, or I watched a TED talk on, or, I was just exploring this, or I'm reading this book, or whatever. And you just use that as an entree, as an icebreaker, because then people will start saying, yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. And even if it's someone who has a slightly different point of view, it's okay. The information is to be debated. It's not something, unless it's something you wrote, but normally it's something you've read or heard or whatever. And then just say, hey, I'm just interested in your point of view. Start an honest conversation by being honest. If you don't agree with it, say, well, I guess we're going to have to agree to disagree on that one, and then move on to something else. But I think that's important. The other thing is if you might need this, to use a sort of a comfortable distance in this communication. Now, admittedly, we can't really have too many conversations out in the world anymore, with face masks, social distance. But it may be that email, texting, Facebook Live, WhatsApp, Skype, Zoom, they're all ways that you can, just learn how to use them. I know it's intimidating. Some people say, I don't want to go on Zoom. You don't have to show yourself on Zoom. You can just be there. You can show your picture. You can show a background. There's actually ways that you can adjust your background so that you can be in Paris or have fun with that. You can put a picture, but you don't have to be all exposed. You can just be there and listen and enjoy. It's easier sometimes to share with a written communication. So maybe you send an email, say, I'd like to discuss that. Gently inquire, be gentle with people. Hey, people have a different point of view. In the States, you've got 50% of the people on one side of the fence and the other politically. No politics, please, here on this channel. But I just want to say that just an example of communication is that you may not always talk to people who agree with you. So listen openly, gently, but with the best intentions. Just have the best intentions. Whatever your point of view is, it's your best intention and it's their best intention. So just don't come in at it with a kind of a desire to convert or change or, win over. Just have the good intention that you want to share. And then with that, you can take the next step into some kind of an intimacy. And that kind of intimacy may be, where you're pulling at each other a bit, where there's like a little tension, but it's okay. That's what intimacy is. It's close, it's deeper, it's more meaningful. I just think this is such a great conversation. I'm a big word person anyway. I believe in the power of words and how we use them. And I think the final thing that Fran talks about is to make a habit of it. Do it now and again. Do it often. Do it with strangers. I just joined a cooking class online in India with 10 complete strangers. And it was so much fun. It was just wonderful. I'll never see them again. I'll never probably join them again on a call. But it was nice to meet completely new people and enjoy something I love to do. So that's just some ideas. So are you lacking deep, intimate conversations? Okay, maybe some of these 7 ideas will get you going. I'd love to hear your feedback though. I mean, if you feel you're lacking deep, meaningful conversations, honest conversations, what are you doing? What kinds of things are you doing to change that? Okay, so I hope that you have found this valuable and useful. I'd love to hear your comments. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, for being our friends, being in the 60andMe community. Know that you're loved and respected, and I just wish you all the very, very best. So take good care of yourselves. Go out and do something fun today. Wear a funky necklace, do something unusual, experimental, try something new. Just have fun. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Bye for now.